This is a how to journal crash course. Ready to crash? So I want to start this video by acknowledging one of my first ever diaries, at least the only one that I know that I kept, from 2017. The first thing to know about journaling is exactly this. This is private info. If I show you, that's okay, but that doesn't give you the right to go through my diary. Close it now. Yours sincerely, Jenna Galea. At the back of my diary is my language. This is one of the first things I've written. That is because rule one of journaling, of writing in a diary, of keeping a diary, of being a diary owner, a person who knows someone who keeps a diary, or a journal, or a book, or a notepad. I can't emphasize this enough. Never read someone's journal without their permission. It is a big, big, big no-no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. As we can see, I have many journals, and so I've thought that this could be a good video to start off with, just to give you a bit of an overview. So let's go back to basics. What is journaling? What is writing in a diary? I view writing in a journal a way to process how I feel, record how I feel, navigate my mind and my thoughts, learn more about myself, delve into places that I maybe don't want to go. Through writing in my journal and problem solving and telling my story for myself and for no one else. That's kind of how I view journaling and what I use it for. It's also important to note that everyone journals differently. This is an important piece of information because I, for a while, didn't really understand how to journal. And this is something that my mum kind of has passed down, like I got from my mum. She journaled and bought me my first journal and encouraged me to maybe write down some of my thoughts in it, and since then, there's been no going back. It has been the best thing ever, and now I have my whole life in journals, and maybe they'll be published when I die, and maybe that'll be my little secret saucy little thing I leave behind. But until then, I think that this is a pretty good video to make, and as my mum passed it down to me, I would love to pass it down to a person that maybe doesn't know how to journal or wants to see how I journal and compare, because it's not something that very many people talk about. So we're going to talk about it. It's a very personal thing, I find, and that's why you never read someone's journal. It's their internal world, it's their thoughts, it's what they're thinking inside, that they don't have to fear the judgment of someone else. They don't have to think about saying it nicely or saying it prettily, or if they want to, they can express themselves exactly as they are. Everyone journals differently. There is no right way to do it. So if you're thinking, oh yeah, this will help me figure out the right way to journal, wrong. This might lead you to find yourself, your own way. And that's what this is meant to be. I'm going to share how I do it, and you're going to do with that what you will and create your own from it. Because there is no right way to journal, to write, to express yourself. Now, a lot of people start a new journal every year. They do a yearly cycle, and for majority of the years that I've been alive, that's been my cycle. I've done a yearly cycle of journals. Year finishes, buy a new journal for birthday, Christmas in December, and then New Year starts, writing that journal. This process has lasted me up until this beginning of this year, where a new way of doing things approached me. The approach of starting a new journal on your birthday, as your year cycle has ended, as you're starting a new cycle for yourself in the way that this calendar works. Now, I don't think, again, even in this timeline, I don't think there is a right or wrong way. You could just write in a journal until it's full, because in doing it yearly, sometimes you don't finish a journal, and then it's like, well, what do I do with the empty pages? And you don't want to write in empty pages. So I have lots of empty pages in a lot of the earlier journals where it's Little Jenna in 2017. So this year end of last year when I turned 19, I started my 19th year journal, which is a new way of doing it. I believe I wrote in the beginning of this one. In the beginning of this journal, I say, this book belongs to Jenna. Contact my number. Year 19 on this earth, book 19, the Jenna saga. This is my saga. These are my stories that I'm keeping for myself, for my family to share, and for you. So there's definitely a varied perspective on when you should start a new journal. Like, I can definitely say that I have heaps of little books that have just been there since forever, and I've just kept adding thoughts and notes and things, and then I'll rip out the pages and stick them in a journal if it's a journal entry type thing. I don't know, I change it up. I do a little bit of different. It's a little bit scattered, it's a little bit crazy, but I kind of love it. Okay, so we've kind of figured out there is no right way to journal. You can start it and finish it whenever you want. One year, one of my darkest... Bear with me. I know exactly which one this is. The year of 2023, for me, was one of my darkest years ever. And as I recall correctly, I never finished this journal and started a new one in the same year because of my emotional baggage. Yeah, I had a really hard year, and this held too much emotional baggage for me to be able to actually handle. So when we say manifestation, we really mean it. There's some dark shit. We went through it. But there is nothing wrong with starting a new journal. There is no right or wrong way to do that. There is no right or wrong way to start. Start and finish whenever you like, yearly, on birthdays, until the pages finish, you name it. Now, what do you write in a journal? Some people genuinely are confused with that question because it's like, what do I write in a journal? For me, it depends. Sometimes I'll write some poetry. At the moment, it's been a lot of poetry, romanticizing my life, manifestations, what I want to see, what I'm working on, some shadow work, thoughts. It just depends what you want your journaling experience to look like. It can look like whatever you want it to. So I wrote down some formatting styles for our little logical thinkers. So a lot of the time, you obviously date your entries. You can date them different ways with slashes, dashes, and points. And you can do a title, a heading, you can name it something. At the moment, I've been naming mine as like a chapter entry, or like a video diary, like little blurb, my thought at the time, or like outside looks like. I've just been naming it something crazy, silly, something with meaning to me in that moment. Or you can just leave it with a date, and that's totally fine too. There is no right or wrong way to do it. My current format style, my format/style of entries are exactly as you see here. I put today's date in a funky way with a little line, and it keeps it a bit interesting for my brain. And then we put the day of the week above that. I have been trying to get better at my French, so hence why it is avril and mercredi. Please tell me if I said that right. Please tell me if I said that right. I don't think that was a very good accent, but that is a little ritual I like to do every time in my formatting at the moment. I definitely do change it up quite a bit. I used to do the slashes and no title. It's just changes up every time, and I kind of try and refresh it every new journal just to keep it a bit interesting. The formatting of what you actually write is interesting. There are so many different ways you can do it. Depends what you're writing, really. If I'm writing poetry, I sometimes do like a weird center of the page thing. Sometimes if I'm having many little discussions, I'll literally format it as, this is your page, right? One in that corner, one in that corner, one in that corner, one in that corner. And that'll be my structure. It just comes out. I don't know, it's super weird. Other times it'll just be back to back, line after line to line. There are a few journal practices on top of the formatting that I include into every single journal entry that I can, accepting things like poetry and thoughts and stuff. But like the normal entry where it's like a recount of my day and maybe some shadow work or working through something internally. I always, I can't emphasize this enough, and I think it's a really good practice to take in, especially if you're beginning or if you're unsure of where you're at with journaling at the moment. With me and journaling have had a big journey. Yeah, it's good. We've had a big journey in journaling. One thing I cannot emphasize enough is gratitude. Practicing gratitude is a real thing, and I remember when I started practicing gratitude as a ritual in my journal, it was super hard to do at first. And I eventually got there, and now it's just a regular part. I always put, I am grateful for life. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for the pen in my hand. I'm grateful for the dead tree in my hand. Like, I am grateful for what I'm being allowed to do. So I think that's a really good thing that I can pass on to you, and that's something to think about. Every single time I do a proper journal entry, I say I am grateful for, or I am grateful because, etc. ABC. And then I always sign off. My sign off has changed throughout the years. I used to just say dash Jenna, or because it would start with Dear Diary. That's like the classic Dear Diary. So you sign on and off is the kind of, is another format you can go with, but my sign off is, it kind of usually goes like this: I'm grateful for blah blah blah, thank you, or good night, or have a good day, or thank you very much. I love you, lots of love, Jenna Galea. So that's how I sign off, and then I do a literal sign off because it's like, yes, I wrote these pages. Now it's important to know I'm only including these formatting and structures because if you need a little bit of guidance, then do that, but it is what you make it. It is all your own work. It is as you believe and how you feel. You just play around and you just try different things with journaling. You could have a lined page, you could have a blank page, you could scrapbook, you make it your own. You include stickers and pictures, and I just use pens most of the time. Sometimes I use texters if I'm feeling a little bit colourful. Like, you can draw pictures in amongst them. I guarantee you there's so many little pictures in every single one of my journals, or like a little butterfly or a love heart. Like, there is always some kind of flair that makes it personal to me. So I encourage you to do that as well. Now, some may be looking at that shelf and being like, why so many journals? We went through a little bit of my dream journal, and that is exactly as it sounds. It is a journal that holds everything to do with my dreams. Then we have my personal journals, which is what I write when I'm feeling something or want to work through something. And then we have tiny little journals like this one here. Now, this is kind of an everything journal. It's small, it's something I can take everywhere and just have in case taking a giant dream journal isn't necessary, or like that's not going to fit in my bag, or I don't want someone to read this, or I'll take this instead if I know that I'm not going to 100% require a journal. And most of the time I'll maybe rip out the pages that are like a journal entry and stick it into my journal, but I've been super slack at the moment. So we have these everything journals. We also have prompted journals. They are amazing. This is my mother's line of book, by the way, Jo's Journals. You should definitely go check them out. I'm biased definitely, but if you struggle with journaling, prompted journals are a great way to start because they kind of help you navigate how to journal, and there is no right or wrong way, and that's established in theirs. And like, my mom taught me how to journal, so freaking, if you can get a self-love journal or a My Musings journal to start, they're so good, and this has helped me and I love it. And this is a self-love, and it asks very thought-provoking questions, like, for example, what would you tell a friend who is struggling with self-love? And then you have pages to write it down. And you don't have to fill up those pages. You can or you can't. It's totally up to you. Then we have this burn before writing one. Exactly as it sounds. You want to... Oh, not burn before writing. Burn after writing. Exactly as it sounds. You want to burn it after you write in it. So it asks you, again, thought-provoking questions. And it's just fun. It's just interesting, thought-provoking questions that I think are really, really fun, and I got this as a gift, and throughout the years I've slowly been filling it. So this is the 1st of the 10th, 2023. 3 things I'd forgive myself for: putting pressure on myself, anger that I felt/feel towards people, being imperfect, 3 signs of hope for the future, butterflies, sunflowers, me, 3 things my alter ego would do differently: be slutty and sultry, disobey parents, keep chasing. So prompted books can also be really good. Then there is the activity book / accountability book / record keeping books. This is called a digital detox from Typo. I have not done anything with this at all. And then there's things like a reading journal, which allows you to keep track of all your books that you're reading, and I've tabbed it in accordance to where everything is and what I will use and what I won't use, but it's like what's on the bookshelf, goals to do list, challenges to be read, quick reviews, reflections, upcoming books, etc, etc, etc. So there is so much. There are so many different ways you can journal and start journaling and get involved in it, which I think is very cool. But those are just some different, I guess, styles of journals that you can buy and get into and start with. Or you can literally just like grab a piece of paper, your notes app. I have a great folder on my notes app that is my phone journal, like, and then I've got one for poems, I've got one for thoughts, brainstorms, like, it's really good. So a journal can look however you want it to. I've written down here that it's important to note that journaling does not have to be organized. It can be messy. It can be, I've said it before, it can be anything that you want it to be. And I, for a long time, thought that journaling couldn't be messy. And now I've unleashed, as you can see, with my many, many journals and my many, many thoughts and things. Yeah, it doesn't have to be all pretty all the time. And now I feel like something to think about is to choose the right journal. Out of all of these recommendations I've given, if you're new to journaling, I think something like the Self-Love Journal is a great way to start. I think it gives you valid prompts that are in depth, that allow you the freedom to be able to say as much as you want or as little as you want. And I think it gets you looking at yourself a bit differently, in a better light, and has a positive effect to you in your journaling journey. I know I've said that word 1,000 times, I'm so sorry. I think if you're wanting a bit more of a fun experience in journaling, then I think you should start with Burn and After writing. If you're a more experienced journaler, I think you look for a aesthetic book that speaks to you in whatever time you're in. Not a people person, as you can probably tell. That one's very, very judgmental. They also don't all have to be the same size, as you well know. Like, we've got a few tiny ones. My journal, here we go, this is one of my favorites. This journal of mine is like just slightly bigger than your normal size. That's my journal now. That was my last one that I had, and that's the size difference. I just really wanted more space to write, and I'm pretty sure this is how I ended. I finished all the pages. This is how I ended. Journal 2025, 18 years. I came out of the cocoon and grew my wings. It's time to learn to fly. That was my last journal. So they can vary in size. They can vary in aesthetics. As you can see, we're changing a little bit. We're shifting as we grow up and grow older. And it's pretty cool. So you can look for aesthetics, you can look for sizes, you can look for the lines in the pages. I know that can make a difference for people. This one was appealing because it had golden pages and beautiful artwork. Now there's the topic of making the most of your journal. Now I find this super, super interesting because part of me has always felt like, oh my god, like the amount of books sitting on a shelf, not being used, the amount of wastage of materials and nature that have gone into making these beautiful things. And I'm like, I feel like we need to use them as best we can in this lifetime. And you have the option to leave pages blank or fill them from border to border. And as I've grown up, I've really worked hard to finish every single journal I use, even if it's with images or just big words. Like, I'm never wasting a page again. I refuse. I will do my darndest not to. And I feel like that is a responsibility that I personally like to take on board. And in saying this to you, I feel like it's a nice thing to maybe make you think about, is to introduce you to thinking about, is if you're going to journal, it's that commitment of, oh, I'd really like to fill up these pages with thoughts and make the most of what's been taken from the earth, and as a way of compensation or giving back to what was taken, to filling it up with truth and honesty, and making a commitment to yourself to journal in truth and journal from your heart and be raw and open and vulnerable, and I don't know, put yourself in there and give back something to someone, even if it is just those pages. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like making your words worthwhile and your choices in what you're writing, passionate and brutal and hard and ugly and all the things that I think are very important when it comes to writing and journaling and discovering more about yourself in that. Finally, it also begs the question of how often are you meant to write in your journal? As I said before, I've been through a very big journaling journey. I have had so many ups and downs, and I've at times put so much pressure on myself to write in my journal, and it's really important to remember there is no pressure unless you're keeping like a progress diary for an assessment. That's a bit different. Journaling for yourself is meant to be for yourself. It's meant to be your safe space that you create and cultivate for yourself, for your mind, for your body to be able to go, I'm home, I'm safe, I'm here, it's a safe space. We can work through, I can talk about what I want, I can write about what I want. It's totally for you. Prior to me coming to that realization, I would put pressure on myself to write, or I'd not write in a week and or I'd not write in a week and feel bad because I hadn't written in so long. And it's really important to recognize that you can write whenever the hell you want. It can be every day, it can be every month, it can be once a week, it can be once a year. Like, it seriously doesn't matter how often you write anything down. It's what you feel in the moment. It's what you feel you need. It's what you feel you want to write down. If you don't want to write it down, don't write it down. Like, no one's forcing you to, unless yourself are forcing you to. I used to force myself to write. Taking the pressure off is really important, and not giving yourself a limit or a quota to meet. You don't need a quota for writing in your journal. It's your journal, you own it, you do what you want with it. And then begs the question, how many pages do you write? What qualifies as a valid journal entry? And you're probably going to get sick of me saying this, but it is what makes it yours. I don't always finish a page. Sometimes I could write 2 sentences and be done. And that's totally fine. I could be like, today was great. That's all I have. And that could be my entry. And then I'll start a new entry below. Before I used to skip a page and go, but now with my new page thing, I try and keep it on the same page and be like, it's a new day, let's start again. But in saying that, I could write 2 sentences and be fine, and I could write 10 pages and be fine. And you best believe I've written 10 pages before in an hour sitting. My hand hurt. I was like, what in the HSC paper? This is crazy. Yeah, so it depends on who you are, what you're writing about, what you're feeling, how much of a big writer you are. Like, there's so much. Journaling is accustomed to you and you only. You are the only one that it is meant for. And that is sacred and valid in every single way, whatever it looks like for you. And yeah, that's my how to journal crash course. I hope you have learnt something from this video. I hope you have maybe a bit more insight into journaling and what someone goes through. Now, reminder, what is the first rule of journaling? Never read someone's diary or journal without their permission. Never read someone's journal or diary without their permission. It's rule number 1 and final rule of journaling. If you give someone permission, a bit different. I tend to read what I've written. Never give someone my journal to read. Remember, journaling is sacred. It's personal, and it is customized to what you want it to be. Use this video as a guide, take what you need from it, leave what you don't want from it. Yeah, I'm gonna go put all my friggin' journals back now, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, noon, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I hope this video was helpful. If you found something you liked in this video, maybe leave a comment, tell me what it was. If you have any other journaling formats or tips or prompts or anything, leave a comment. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more like it, give a like and subscribe, turn your notifications on, do what you gotta do, but I'll be here regardless. And I hope your journal writing goes well. I hope your dreams come true, and I hope your words are meaningful. And I just like to finish off with, words have power. Use your power for good, for yourself and for others. Okay, time to put these back. Play that funky music till you die, till you die. Play that funky music, white boy. Oh my god, don't fall. Lay down the boogie, play the funky music till you die, till you die. And they were singing, and there was dancing, and singing and moving to the groove and just like time to play that funky music, white boy. Play that funky music, right? Play that funky music, white boy. Lay down that poker, play that funky music.